What's up, guys? Welcome to the Harbor.Church podcast. I am your host for these special episodes. My name is John Petty. I am the worship director here at Harbor.Church. I have with me today a very special guest. You may know her as a wonderfully talented singer. You may know her as a newlywed. I know her as Jess Chadwick. Her name is now not Chadwick because, again, newlywed. Alemov.
Yes.
Beautiful. We have Jess Alemov here with us. Welcome, Jess.
Hi, John. How's it going?
It's good, man. And I'm glad that you're here.
I'm really glad I'm here.
I'm glad
Thank
to
you
have
for having me.
If you know Jess, I would say you are better off for it. Jess serves on our worship team. She serves down in Harbor Kids. She has helped quite a bit with the missions here at Harbor.Church. She's kind of all over the place, but she is a bright light, I would call you, Jess, among other things.
Very nice. Thank you.
It is the truth. And every time that Jess is with us for worship, I am very grateful that she's there. I think because of the energy and the spirit that you bring to our team. And I want to talk to you today about that idea of being grateful. Wow, what a good segue by me. Didn't even do that on purpose.
I was thinking that. I'm like, ooh, that was good.
Nailed it, right? I want to talk a little bit about gratitude today and gratitude in worship. We've talked about worship being us putting God in his rightful place. And I think that worship can look like a lot of different things. Obviously, as the worship director here, my main responsibility is with music. But just in general, this is worship to a holy God can look like many different things. And I think gratitude is like a really good foundation of that. So I really do want to talk to you about that. But before we do that, I would just like to hear just a little bit about Jess. If the people don't know you, kind of how you met Jesus and how you got involved even in our worship ministry and sort of a little bit of a journey there, if you want to share.
Yes, I would love to. So I am a retired theater kid.
Amen.
Recovering theater kid, whatever you want to call it. I was in a cappella in college, which was like very liberal arts school of me. So I've always had like an inclination towards music. My mom like always really was supportive of that. And performing and just doing that type of stuff. But I actually put it down in the middle of college. I was like over it and it just felt very scary and hard and I didn't want to do it anymore. And fast forward, life was lifing and I was going through a lot of hard things, struggling a lot, partying a lot, dealing with a lot of people who were like struggling with addictions. And I just kind of got to this place where I like really needed something more. Like trying to carry it all by myself was too much. I met Kaylee Mayu and Bobby at Rory's Organic Market and Kitchen.
Shout out.
And they invited me to church and reluctantly I went. I think she bribed me with crisp.
That's a good bribe.
Yeah, it is a good bribe. And I just kept coming. And the day I got saved actually was Easter 2023.
Love it.
I literally just sat through a couple of services and I got to serve in our kids ministry. And I just remember seeing the face of Jesus and just being like, taking that deep breath where everything just settled. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is why it's Jesus. This is why it's not just God. This is why it's Jesus, know? Never been the same since. And I don't remember how I actually ended up getting involved with worship. I was friends with Evan and I had said, I'm like, oh, I miss singing. Like, it'd be kind of fun to get back up here. And I got to audition and he let me on. And I remember for like the first year, I feel like getting up there and just like really worrying about how I sounded and what I was doing and just still feeling that discomfort of like performance. And then eventually, the Lord kind of showed me, he's like, hey, this is just something that I gave you as a gift to use for me.
Right.
And it just became a lot less scary after that. And now I feel like it's just a joy and an opportunity for me to like come and worship, especially when I don't want to. It's just it's been like a safeguard for me.
Yeah.
So
no, it's good. Yeah, I totally get it. I think it's easy to, I've talked about this with everybody that's been on here. I think it's easy for people that are talented in a certain way to get on a worship team, and then they can very easily show up in spaces that like make it hard to worship. And if worship truly is like, okay, I'm going to put God in his rightful place, right? I'm going to make him God. if that's what worship is, when we walk in with a bunch of different stuff, it makes it very difficult to do that properly and to lead our church in it properly. I think the best way, or one of the best ways, I will say, to get into that space for me has been gratitude. It's been something I've tried to practice. But can you speak a little bit about that? Like, how does gratitude get us rightfully putting God where he belongs? How does it get us there?
Yeah. I've been praying about this specifically a lot. And I really do think that like gratitude is a tool for our worship. You know what I mean? I think that God's put on my heart recently, like, hey, I designed you to worship. You just get to choose which thing you worship. You know, you could either worship me, a perfect, righteous, loving God, or you can worship, you know, all the other things that are available to worship, which don't lead to any kind of fruit or any kind of truth, you know? And I think that when it comes to gratitude in my own worship, and maybe this isn't true for everybody, but when I'm really struggling to see the goodness of God, if I can just take a step back and be like, Lord, thank you that the sun rose today. Like, thank you that you woke me up. Thank you that you gave me another day. Thank you even for this thing that I'm really, really struggling with that I hate, because I know that you work all things for your good for those who love you and follow you. And I think it's, the more we practice it, I'm like a fake it till you make it kind of person, which maybe isn't super authentic, but I really do think there is something to when you aren't in a good space and when you are not fixed on Jesus and fixed on the things above, really taking the time to intentionally fix your eyes on good things and feel grateful. Because I don't think that you can look at God and his goodness and his truth and not have a response of gratitude. You know, it like kind of it's almost like it's a tool and it's a symptom of our worship, you know?
No, that's really good. I think it's one of those things where you're exactly right. Like, you kind of need to fake it till you make it a little bit.
Sometimes.
But like, what would you say to the person that would say, well, that is inauthentic, Jess? Like, that isn't real gratitude. If you were really grateful, you would have walked into rehearsal tonight or, you know, Sunday morning worship, and you would have been already grateful. Like, how, like, is the act of doing it when I don't, is the act of being grateful when I don't feel inherently grateful, of like literally saying out loud those things, like, is that faking it or is that authentic? Do you think that God blesses that still?
Yes, I do think he blesses it still. I think I would say I understand, because I've struggled with that idea of doing something when I don't feel authentically like behind it, you know? And I think as I've walked with Jesus and I've grown up in Jesus, he's shown me like, hey, I bless your obedience. And like says in the Bible, you know, fix your eyes on the things above, like fix your eyes on that which is righteous and good and true and holy. And I do think that practice of gratitude and being grateful for those things helps us to kind of obey God in that command, which is like, worship me, look at my face, fix your eyes on the things that I have for you, because my ways are not like your ways and I have better, you know? So I would say maybe it is a little fake, but it's obedient, you know? I might not like it, I might not be feeling it, but eventually I feel like God is always faithful every time I fake it to bring me to a place where I actually really do feel the reverence and the love for him that he deserves, you know, in my own small humanness. I can't feel it the way that he deserves, but.
No, it's so true. It's so true. My father always says, like, there's this, you got to have your faith before your feeling, which is nice and quippy and fun to say. But I think that is it's been so true for me in my walk with Jesus, to say like that faith, really what it is what you said, is obedience. It's like obedience without the internal feeling and motivation sometimes to get there. We want in our humanness for like my feeling to precede any sort of level of faith. So before I'm going to say, God, I'm going to be grateful for these things, I want you to make me feel grateful for them. And often, I say often, like I think almost every single time, it is the other way around. Like I am not, I'm focused on so many other things in my life. I'm focused on my work. I'm focused on my family. I'm focused on just getting things done in general. And I don't take a second to be grateful. And so I'm never really in a spot that's like full gratitude.
Yeah.
If I was maybe more spiritual person, maybe I would be. But often my obedience needs to precede that. Like I have to, like I think about when Paul writes in the New Testament, he says, I beat my body and I make it my slave, which is like crazy to say, but it is true. It's like, I have to get on top of my flesh and say like, hey, you know what, we're going to feel this way. And maybe I don't feel like it right now, but I know that if I fix my eyes on these things, then it'll put me back into a spot for worship. I'd be interested to kind of hear what you might think about, like we sing a lot of songs that kind of compel us to be grateful. And I think that that's really good. And we're kind of already talking about like, hey, sometimes I don't feel like singing this song. But I would like you to maybe just speak a little bit to like to that progression. I don't know if you can get that granular with it, but like when I start to say these things with my mouth, what does that start to do to my heart over time? Like, have you seen this happen in your own worship where like through the couple verses in a chorus, now like all of a sudden my heart is shifted? Do you think that that's kind of how it goes?
I do, and I do. There's like a caveat, and I'm not sure if it's like a but kind of a statement, but I do think that when I find that I have that heart transformation, as I start to speak those truths out, as I start to sing those songs that are like praising God for who he is and speaking truths, I think that I receive it, or I'm transformed by it in the moment more when I've gone into it repentant. And a lot of times I have to kind of take that moment not only to be grateful, but like before I'm even ready to be grateful, to be like, Lord, I'm really sorry that I'm actually not grateful for all of these things.
Yeah.
And I have to kind of get into this place of like you said, what worship is, which is like submitting ourselves to a holy God. And like it does take sacrifice and some repentance and some obedience. And I'm a feeling person. Like
Amen.
I
too,
want
man.
to feel everything.
So
and
bad.
when you feel the presence of God, oh my goodness, it is the most
wonderful.
Magical, incredible thing. And I want that experience every time I walk into the throne room. And the Lord has just shown me, he's like, it's not really like that all the time. You know, it's just, it's just not. And I think that you have to be okay with that, but I think that the goal can't be, because I've done this a lot. I think my goal is like, well, if I just sing these songs and if I just say these things, then I'll feel the presence of the Lord.
Yeah.
And just because I'm not feeling the presence of the Lord does not mean he's there.
Yeah.
Like I spend so many of my days sad and upset or feeling like he's not there or angry about whatever, some stupid thing, you know, focused on my own appearance and what I look like and like, oh my gosh, I said that thing. Do you think that person's still thinking about it? And every single time God is still there with me.
Yeah.
You know, even if I'm not feeling righteous
Right.
and like a good Jesus follower in the moment, you know? So I do think that as long as I walk in with a repentant heart and I walk in really at a point where I'm like, Lord, I can't do this if I don't have you.
Yeah.
Then I think those songs and singing those truths do transform my heart.
Yeah.
After a little bit.
That's really good. That's
know?
really good. Yeah. You're almost saying like, hey, the repentance needs to precede the gratitude. If I'm to be grateful to God for the things that he has done, I need to first deal with my faulty relationship with him. Like when we read the Lord's Prayer, that is like, I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with that first because I know that that's the thing that's keeping me separated from having that sort of communion with him. And I actually like what you're saying here because I think you can go too far down the road to say like, you know, it's only faith and no feeling, and like those feelings are bad, and like they're not, we shouldn't be leaning on those feelings. And I actually, I'm also a feeling person quite a bit. I'm a very emotional boy.
Yes, we both are.
And I think that it's easy to get down the road of being like very dogmatic about it, being like, you just have to say these things and recite this, and then you will be grateful. And we were just, oddly enough, before the pod, we were talking about ChatGPT and how much it's a wonderful tool. But I could type into ChatGPT right now, like, hey, God, give me a 30-second prayer, to the tune of this, theologian, and make it, wordy and beautiful and poetic, and it would just spit it right out like immediately. Yeah. And you could read that and be like, wow, that is just so full of the Spirit. But it is literally a machine. Yeah. There's no
numbers.
Right. There's no feeling behind it. And so what God has created us for isn't just so that we recite a certain amount of things and we say exactly the right things. Like, God is after our heart. Mm-hmm. And in order for him to pull our hearts towards him, he's going to have to pull our emotions towards him. The problem with emotions is that often you and we let them run our lives.
Absolutely.
And so that redirect isn't so much like you have to be cold and calculated, but you have to say that my emotion, first of all, cannot always be trusted, but also if I'm to get myself into a place where I put God on his rightful throne and I am grateful for the things that he has done, I have to use the words of this song to get me there. But first I have to say, God, shift my heart.
Yeah.
I've prayed this prayer a million times at church and on the way to work and whatever, where I'm like, God, I literally do not feel like this right now. Mm-hmm. And I need you to help me feel like this.
Yeah.
And he will answer that prayer. He will supernaturally work in my heart to make me feel different things, I believe. But the first step to be grateful, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying in a very long-winded way. The first step to being grateful is that I'm asking God to do a work in my heart.
Yeah. And
then I'm going to say, okay, God, maybe that work hasn't been fulfilled yet. Maybe I'm not feeling great, but I've asked you to do it. And now I'm going to be obedient.
Yeah.
And I'm going to step out and say, these things are true. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to know kind of what you think about gratitude as a corporate thing. Because you and I are grateful for things that happen in our lives. And so I can sing a song like Been So Good, and I think about my life, and I think about how grateful I am that God has done certain things. But specifically what we do on Sunday morning is a corporate event. Absolutely. It is a bunch of people. And so how can gratitude be something that is corporate? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I think gratitude kind of spurs on more gratitude, Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, my husband will do this with me when I have days where I'm just off the rails about whatever. and he's feeling calm, and he's very patient and just kind. And God was very kind to give a man like that to me. But he'll sit there and he'll be like, okay, but what are you grateful for? And sometimes when he does that, I do want to punch him in the face.
So fair. Yeah.
Because at the moment I'm I don't feel grateful at all. So please just validate the horrible feelings that I'm having and let's move on with our day. But I do think that every time, once I put down my flesh and I'm like, okay, don't punch this man in the face because he loves you and he's trying to help you. I think that there would be days, I guess my long-winded story, there would be days I would not be able to go to God and be grateful.
Yeah.
If I did not have another person standing next to me reminding me that that's what I need.
Yeah, it's good.
So I think when it comes to corporate worship and corporate gratitude, it's there's people that walk into a church on Sunday morning, on any given morning, who are in so much pain and simply do not have the strength to even go to God in prayer.
Yeah.
Or don't have the relationship with him that they feel like they can go to him. You know what I mean? And I think just being people around, whether you're on the platform or you're not, or you're just attending a service, or you're serving in a different ministry, people need to be reminded that there's things that they can be grateful for. And maybe not necessarily doing it the way that my husband does, because him and I have that relationship and he has that access to me. But just even expressing in your own life the things that you're grateful for, especially, when it coincides with something that at one point was really, really hard, that gives people hope. That's part of sharing our testimony. That's part of showing that there was a change in my heart and in my mind, and that's because of Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I have specifically, I've told people this. So I pray often when we when we get together as a worship team, and I will pray very specifically, and I will thank God for his institution of the church. And I'll say, God, thank you that you've created this body of people to gather together, to lift each other up, to encourage one another. And you could think that I pray that because like, oh, I just love the church all the time. And like, man, no, I pray that because God has worked on that in my heart.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, actually, what I would rather is just do this on my own.
Absolutely.
And I would rather just have this relationship where it's just me and God. You know, you're perfect and holy and I'm screwed up, but we're working at it together. And I don't have to involve anybody else in that because people are messy and, you know, relationships are clunky and they're abrasive and there are all sorts of things like that. And so for me, I pray that not because it's always true of my heart, or at least there was a period of time where it was really not true of my heart. But like God did over time make me grateful for those things. Yeah. And so I pray it as a reminder for myself. But it is a corporate thing. Like I pray it for the team. Like hear me say that I'm grateful for the church so that today when you've walked in and you weren't, that maybe you can be. Yeah. I always say to our team that the songs that we're singing, we're talking about who God is, but we're also reminding ourselves what God has done.
Absolutely.
And so like so much a part of worship is reminding your brother and sister, hey, God has been so faithful. Yeah. Hey, God has protected me. Hey, God has given us victory. Hey, God has overcome death, hell, and the grave. Like this is the thing that I'm doing. I'm reminding myself of this. I was thinking as I was kind of like just in my head preparing for this, I was thinking of a passage in Lamentations where Jeremiah is writing and he's being let's just say he's being real emo, you know, and he says this term, he says, my soul is bowed down within me. It's like this really deep, like, not like, hey, I had a bad day today. It's like, oof, man, life is heavy. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And but then he says, yet I call this to mind and therefore I have hope. Yeah. And it's this shift. But that first part of it, like, I call this to mind. And then he goes off to list a bunch of things about God. But that means the first step for gratitude for us is I have to look back. Like, I have to turn around and say, what has God done in my life? I think that this is like a fun thing to talk about in theory. I think it's a much harder thing to like do in my life, you know?
Yeah. I agree with that.
What would you say is like, what's a practical way I can put this into my life in a way that's going to really make a difference over the long haul? Like, what's a habit I can build into my life that makes this real for me?
I think there's a few. I recently have taken a play out of your playbook, I guess. That's nice. Not really what I wanted to say, but you get what I'm saying. And I've been going, I used to have like this morning routine where I'd like sit and I'd read my Bible and I'd journal and it was so lovely. And then I got married and somebody moved into my house. And so I don't really haven't figured out how to get that balance back, you know? And so in the mornings I've been going on walks. And excuse me, I remember very specifically you sharing with our team that you like, we'll just go on walks and you'll talk to God. And so I tried it. I thought about it. And I was like, I'm just going to talk to Jesus like he's just like
he's my
walking
pal.
with me, you know?
And
I found that has kind of like spiraled my prayer life. Like just having this unstructured, like no pressure time to just commune with God in a way that like kind of takes the pressure of like structured prayer out of it, you know, has increased my ability to actually just like talk to him about the things that are happening in my day. And I do feel like having that consistency with Jesus and then also having a space that's not so structured to go to him has helped me to lean on him more throughout my day in prayer. You know, so because I want to say like, oh, prayer is an obvious answer to your question. But like prayer for me has not always been easy. And especially in seasons where I'm not feeling grateful, I don't want to talk to God. I don't want to go to him. You know what I mean? I won't even necessarily be mad at him in my heart. It's just like, there's so many other things I would rather fill my time with, you know? So I think like kind of finding a way to bring God in a way that doesn't feel like so much pressure has helped my prayer life. Another thing that I'm really big on always is journaling.
Yeah.
I remember before I was saved, COVID hit, and I was like very spiritual, but I did not know the Lord. And I remember everyone was like freaking out, and my friend started writing a gratitude list. And we would just like literally go around and be like, what are you grateful for today?
Yeah.
Like to other people, be like, hey, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? And sometimes people would say like really stupid, ridiculous things, but it counts because, you know, they're trying. They're trying to find the thing that they're grateful for. They're grasping for it. And I do find that when you actually could even just take like 5 minutes to write down everything that you're grateful for, you'd be surprised at maybe how big of a list that is and how quickly those things come to mind. Or you could just be encouraged by the fact that you were able to think of one. You know, it could go either way.
True.
But I do think that that's a practical. And then I think another thing is just getting around other people who love Jesus and who love you and care about you and
encourage you towards
towards what God has for you, you know, and maybe it doesn't look like going on a walk in the morning or talking to God in a casual way or even writing or journaling. I know that's like not for everybody, but if you go to people that know the Lord and that love you, they could probably help you find something that would make sense for who God's created you to be and for how you do things and what you like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, those are good. Those are good. It's finding a rhythm. I always say, I think the reason that like the walk thing kind of came to me in large part, how I've structured most of the spiritual discipline in my life is because I recognize that like, if it's up to my own willpower, I probably won't do it. And if I make it too difficult for myself, I probably won't do it.
Amen.
I also think what I do for myself, and I think what kind of keeps me sometimes away from doing something like, oh, I'm going to write a gratitude list, or I'm gonna you know, spend this amount of time in prayer, reading my Bible, is that what I want. This goes back to me being a feelings guy, but what I want is I want there to be like an aha moment.
Right.
I want to be writing a gratitude list and just to feel like immense gratitude in my heart. And oftentimes it does push me towards that. But like sometimes when I open up my Bible, look, I'm just reading words. And like I've asked God to be with me and to show me something. And I'm like just reading a bunch of words.
Yep.
And I don't really know what's going on here in this passage. And I'm really tired and I have a lot of things to do today. And I'm trying to focus my mind. I guess what I'm saying is like when we do these, we try to discipline ourselves spiritually. It becomes very easy to kind of get off that track because I'm just not like, I'm not getting that moment every time. And I think the act and the discipline of turning that over and over and over and over again eventually produces the reward that God has for us. But often it's a lot slower than we'd want it to be.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, man, like my own, I can't even get out of the way. I want to get out of the way. But I know that if I specifically think about things I'm grateful for, that God will move my heart. He has said that he would. So like I'm going to trust him to do that. I want the aha moment, but oftentimes that's just not the way that it happens. But like when Paul writes in Galatians, he says like, hey, don't grow weary in doing good. And so like, I don't know, I guess I caveat all of this type of stuff with that. Like you might write a gratitude list tomorrow morning and you're like, well, I still feel like very ungrateful today.
Absolutely. And honestly, you might pray for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. You might have like even like right now, the season of my life, you know, it's like I am in I'm communing with Jesus. Like he's in my life. He's there. I'm recognizing his presence. Like I'm trying to be obedient. Like I'm trying to die to my flesh. You know, I'm allowing him to do what he needs to do, you know, and it doesn't necessarily mean that all of a sudden you like wake up one morning and it's sunshine and rainbows. And I think as I start to walk with God more, because I'm still a new-ish believer, but it's been a few years. So I think I'm starting to get hit with that realization that like, oh, like following Jesus is not just like sunshine and rainbows. And I
Yeah,
think
welcome.
maybe at one point, you know, when I was hearing the gospel, that's what I kind of was expecting God to do in my life. It's like, well, then I'm going to be delivered from everything, and everything's going to be great, and I'm going to feel good all the time, and I'm going to have all these crazy like download moments with God, and it's going to be awesome. And that is true sometimes, but Jesus also said, he's like, there will be trials.
Gonna have them.
This is a broken world. Like, there will be trials, but like, take heart, for I've overcome the world.
Yeah, right.
I got you, you know? And I think that at the end of the day, gratitude doesn't have to be that pretend like, oh, I'm happy because all of these things in my life are fine. No, it can truly be like, Lord, I hate this, and I hate what I'm feeling, and I hate what I'm going through, but thank you that you are a God who keeps his promises. Like, thank you that you are who you say you are. You know, and I think, honestly, for me, in my walk with God, like, those are the times that I feel like I'm engaging with worship in the most genuine way. Because I'm not pretending that everything's fine and dandy, but I'm at least taking the things that I hate to my Father, who loves me and who cares about me and who wants to hear about all of those things and who knows about all of those things anyway. You know? And so I think that, like, it's not this like magical, I think New Age spirituality kind of sends it out as like, oh, it's like this New Age, like, new potion. It's like a magical potion. All of a sudden, all of your problems will dissolve and everything will be great. It's really not like that. And worship really isn't like that. You know, worship actually requires, like, pure worship requires sacrifice. Like, you look at what Jesus did on the cross. Like, he gave his life to worship God by fulfilling the thing that he had for him to do, so that everybody could be forgiven and redeemed, right? And like, I think that gratitude can kind of look a little ugly and messy and not make you feel like $1 million at the end of it, but
so true.
It's still, it's worship. Like, you really can't have.
Right, because I actually think you nailed it there, by the way. Good for you. You nailed it, because I think what we want, or at least what we've been told gratitude is I'm grateful for like good things in my life, or I'm grateful for things. I'm even like, oh, I'm grateful for the sunshine today, or I'm grateful that like I have a roof over my head. And that's true. That is what gratitude is. But there is the biblical deeper gratitude, and the one that leads into like true worship is when I'm grateful for God and who he is. Right?
Yes.
So it's that second part of the worship. Like, I think about what God has done, but also I remind myself who he is.
Yes.
And so like, I remind myself, God, that you are a strong and mighty warrior. I remind myself that you are a wonderful counselor, that you are a friend, that you're Prince of Peace. Like, I remind myself of these things, and then I'm grateful for that. Like, I'm grateful that God can work in the circumstance that I don't see him working in. Like, and I won't name any names, but I've literally prayed before, Jess. Like, I've been like, God, I want to hate this person.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hate them. But what I'm going to do instead, God, for whatever reason, because you've said that I have to trust you, that I'm going to pray that you soften my heart towards this person. And I'm going to say I'm grateful for them. And then when I do that, I'm not even really looking to be grateful for that person. I'm just saying, like, God, you're in control, and you've told me to love my brothers and sisters, and so I'm gonna.
And that this is your child who you love. Like, this is like, you love them. Completely and entirely.
100%.
Even if I don't, you know?
And so, like, I'm just gonna trust that you're God here. And I'm just gonna be grateful for it. Not because this is like like you said, like it's a magic potion. It's going to fix my heart towards this person. Now, I believe that's eventually what it does.
Absolutely.
But the moment of it is because I'm trying to get myself back to like, God's on the throne. Like, that's, by the way, that's the whole thing. And that's why worship is what it is. And that is how, like, I can sort of filter gratitude into my life. I think it's easy to be grateful when, like, my life is really good. Or it's easy. I shouldn't even say it's easy to be grateful when life's really good, because sometimes I'm just the opposite of grateful, actually. I'm just like...
Well, and you just think that you're entitled to all. Not like entitled to all of it, but it's like, oh, this just is what it is. You know, you're not...
nailing life. So that's why things are going well right now. But when things are going wrong, I'm not grateful. And I think a lot of it is because I stopped trusting who God says that he is. Like, God says, like, I'm going to work all things together for the good of those who are called according to my righteousness. And I'm like, well, that's me. But like, God, I don't feel too good right now. So I'm not super grateful. And God's like, well, I'm still doing the work. Have I stopped doing the work? Have I stopped being God? You can still be grateful. And I think actually that's the end of it. Like at the end, I'm not necessarily like, to go back to the the real life example for me where I'm praying to not hate people because I'm a sinful person. When I'm praying that prayer, it isn't so much like at the end of it, I look back and I'm like, wow, God really softened my heart towards that person.
Yeah.
He did. But actually, like the real, true gratitude comes from when I look back and I'm like, that's right, God, you were who you said you were.
Yeah.
And now my trust in you and my faith in you is that much greater. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah.
And you're a better person than me because I'll straight up tell God that I hate a person.
Yeah.
I won't even ask for him to help me not hate them. But then eventually, I get to that place where it's like, well, you haven't called me to hate this person.
Yeah.
So like, help me.
Yeah.
You know? But no, I think it goes hand in hand. But really, I think I heard a podcast recently. It was like a layman's podcast, if you will, where she was talking about like inauthentic gratitude and authentic gratitude. And I actually would challenge. I was like challenging my brain to think like there's gratitude out that the world has claimed, and then there's biblical gratitude, which, like you said, is really, God, thank you that you are who you say that you are, even when I don't see it, even if I don't know yet, even if I cannot see a way past this thing. You have done it before, and you'll do it again, and I know that you're God.
Yeah.
And so, thanks
So
for
true.
that. Thanks for being God.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Because like even if I get tomorrow morning and I'm like, gotta write my gratitude list, I'm like, my life sucks. So like nobody loves me, nobody cares about me, nothing's good. I don't have a job. I'm living outside and it's raining on top of my head. Like I can get real nitpicky and be like, I'm grateful for the bunnies and the trees. Or I can just like, I got infinite stuff to be grateful about God, like about who he is.
Exactly.
Right. So
there's an endless list.
Yes.
Truly.
And that is, by the way, why we sing the songs that we sing and why those words are so powerful to get ourselves to a place where we're actually properly worshiping, because what they're doing is we're not thanking God that, that I got a big house. I'm thanking God because he, is close to the brokenhearted, because God has always been faithful to me, because he rescued me out of the pit.
Yes.
Like I'm thankful for the things that God has done.
Yeah.
And when I get that sort of gratitude in my heart, man, that's a true and a pleasing worship, as the Bible would call it. So
Yeah. Amen.
yeah, man. I think that's good, man. That was good. I appreciate you coming on, Jess.
I appreciate you having me. Thanks,
I love
John.
you being
I love
here.
you so much.
You're the best.
Happy to do it anytime.
All right, guys. Bye.
All right.